I want to do something different. I want to ask you guys a couple questions about business growth and media. Um, Jay put out verse of the decade to me on Countless album. Like, what are the two? And I don't think Jay-Z gets enough credit for being one of the first people to teach business at scale ever since that first album. What are the two lessons that you grabbed from his verse on God's Did, on Khaled's album?
Shout out to Khaled. Shout out to Hov. I feel like, Jay is Jay, so he always gonna have a bunch of bars in there. But I feel like the overarching thing where everybody keeps talking about is when he says, 3 billionaires came from my lineage, which is Rihanna, Kanye himself. But then he said, throwing LeBron, technically he's a rock boy, So, but I think for me, what I got from that is like your success is going to be measured by others, not really around you. The success of others around you, not just you. And that's something that has been our motto from day one. And that's something that we really, been priding ourselves on is variety of different things that we do. It includes other people.
Mm-hmm.
There's not hardly anything that we do. It's just me and Troy by ourselves. Like, even different platforms that we have, like we provided that platform for other people to get on. The Breakfast Club, whether it's 85 South, whatever it is, these are relationships that we've had. Yeah, we could have just used the relationship for ourselves, but we provided that opportunity for other people because we understand that their success is tied to our success, and we can only go so far by ourselves. But when you're trying to really, make a mark in history and really build a global empire, you don't look at it like, all right, I got to get 100% of the chips myself. Like, everybody has to be successful in order for you to be actually successful. And it doesn't even matter if Kanye has more money than Jay on paper. They're both billionaires. Kanye comes from Jay. So no matter what, he could never erase the history. Jay-Z was there at the beginning stages. So just like Dame was, shout out to Dame. So I feel like for me, that was something that was big because for him to say that, it's like, he could have just said how much money he has, but to highlight Rihanna, to highlight Kanye, and to highlight LeBron, that's saying like, now you're talking about real legacy. The legacy is the people that you help, not just helping.
He didn't even mention Beyonce.
True.
Like, he left the billionaire off. He doesn't get enough credit. I know people always like, well, Beyonce made him more popular worldwide or internationally. He addressed that. But Jay did help Beyonce from a management standpoint as well. Like, so to have helped so much that you leave a person off.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I mean, tremendous. I guess Beyonce thing is a little tricky because they're married. So it's like she helped him a lot as well.
Absolutely. Better than 1 billion.
And she was already Beyonce when he met her. Like, Kanye wasn't Kanye West when he was involved, and Rihanna wasn't Rihanna. So that's from the beginning level.
I mean, she was from the beginning too.
Cool,
because she was still Beyonce from Destiny Child at the time. She wasn't.
She
didn't have a solo album yet.
Beyonce,
though.
We're not going to do that.
She was Beyonce from Destiny Child.
Jay Smart, fellas, listen up. Don't take credit for your woman's
early investment.
Because that argument could have been bad. So
he got in early
investment.
Sure, but I'm just saying she's still
seed round.
It wasn't Dangerously in Love yet. That's what I'm saying.
That's true.
It didn't happen.
Shout out to Hov. One of the best seed investors ever.
Oh, no, he was old.
He was cooking.
He was definitely. His blueprint had already happened.
This 20
million. 20 million is a long way from a billion.
But he was Hov already. Like,
of course, he's Hov.
I'm always gonna defend Hov.
I
wrote my bars down, Ian. I wrote my two. So gotcha. I wrote. I'm at the cap table. What the splits is? Not that cap table. Boy, we lit us. I mean, the double entendre in it, the triple entendres in these verses. I just think Jay. I mean, obviously, I already said he's the best, but just that alone, right? Like, now a young man or a young woman listening to that has to really what is he talking about? And so when we talk about the cap table, now you're talking about ownership and like how much percentage do we own? And like, not like these fake dudes who's capping about it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just being aware of the language that's being used now and flipping it into something that can be something that they can now go and research and understand what that is. And I guarantee, like, somebody's going to take that away from me. Like, all right, the cap table, how do I get to one of those? Or how, you know what I'm saying? How do I have the majority percentage inside of one of those joints? So that one stood out for me. Obviously, the billionaire line, but then the other part, because I heard him talk on, I mean, I watch every interview this guy does, but when he was 444, when he talked about the growth, like, you could just hear the growth in him. And then when he did the Kevin Hart interview, when he was talking about all that inner pain. So the other line I wrote was, all this pain from outside inspired all the growth within. Some new planes got broken in. The highest elevation of self. That they done fucked around and gave the right niggas wealth. I was like, wow.
Yeah, he was talking.
Like, imagine that. Like, they gave the right dudes wealth. So it's, people have acquired wealth in the past, but they never shared the knowledge of how they acquired it. And so him saying that line, I felt like that encompasses kind of what we doing, right? Like, we've come to a certain level of success, and now we're giving it back to people who also can acquire that same level of success with the right determination, work ethic, and dedication. And so it's the right time because the right people are here. So those are probably two of my favorites right there.
I love it. In terms of the show, if you can do it all over again, like, what are 2 things you would do differently, and what's 1 thing you would have done right away, knowing what you know now?
What show?
Any of them.
I mean, as far as what to do differently, well, one thing that I would have done right away is just start earlier. I always tell this idea. I actually had this idea for years.
What year did you first come up with it? Because that's one of my big things. I'm like, damn, if I'd have started probably 2010.
Probably 2015.
Yeah.
Probably 2015, 2014, maybe even earlier, maybe like 2014. Something like that. Like, you know what I mean? So that I always saw the value in social media early. I always thought like this could, not even this, because I wasn't thinking about earning leisure. It was more of a personal thing. But at that time, I wanted to be a celebrity financial advisor. That was my goal, to grow my financial planning business online. So I thought like I could write books, I could speak, I could do seminars, I could be like a celebrity financial advisor, like, in my own way, swag it out with the fashion, pretty much everything that's happening now. But that's what I actually thought about that and just set on the idea. People, you have you're self-conscious. You might think like, what do people think? Or people's not going to gravitate towards it.
And what if it doesn't work? Yeah.
Nobody's going to be interested in it. So that's always my biggest thing. Like, I would have just started early, and I always tell people, whatever you have, just start early. Because at the end of the day, the worst that could happen is that it doesn't work. But that's just a learning experience. Like, we all going to die one day. So it's better to live with something that didn't work as opposed to live with regret. Because when you regret things, you're always going to be thinking, what if I did this, and what could have happened, and
how my life is tough. Yeah,
how my life could have been different. So if you try it, at least like, all right, I tried it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's nothing to be ashamed about. Everything doesn't work out, but it's a learning experience. So for me, that I definitely would have just started earlier for sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there's anything that I would have done different. I feel like it's bigger than me, right? Like, this is God's time and this is God's purpose. That's just, I'm a living vessel that's carrying that out. So everything literally has its purpose. And I was trying to break that down. I remember just being in that classroom and try to teach financial literacy. And we run into some of our students who were part of the program over the past couple of weeks. And they were just like, yeah, I remember it. I remember it very distinctly how passionate y'all was about it. But I had to be in front of that classroom because it forced me to learn about finance, and it forced me to actually teach myself and learn from Rashad. And all those things prepared me for the next moment, right? Like, I was in the classrooms and I was writing lesson plans, but those lesson plans helped me write lesson plans about finance. And I was memorizing hip hop songs, and those songs helped me write lyrics that would help teach kids. Cause I'm like, wait, they listen to hip hop? All right, let me find a lesson inside that they can now relate to. So every moment prepared me for the next one, even this moment, right? Like, it's not the easiest thing to speak in front of large crowds. But when you speak in front of 90 kids every day, that's the toughest audience. You know what I'm saying?
Kids are brutally honest. Absolutely, yeah.
I'm talking about kids that they just want to, like, let's start. We want to play right now. Like, having that type of classroom management is almost like having that stage management where it's like, all right, well, we know what the focus is. We know what we need to do. Let's go get it done. So everything, man. Like, even when people say like, how tired y'all are, I started thinking like, man, even as a father, like, them sleepless nights. Like, when your son doesn't go to sleep, but my daughter went to sleep and I'm up all night, but guess what? You got to go to work tomorrow. Yeah, you went to sleep at 4, but there's about 1,000 kids relying on you at 7:30.
Yeah.
So that what that feeling is like. And it's the same thing. It's like, well, did y'all get sleepy? I got enough sleep. I could go. I've been here before. I've felt what this sleep deprivation has felt like before. And I understood what was at stake. And I understood we had to perform no matter what. And so people look at us like, how are y'all doing this? Like, everything has prepared us for these moments.
This that Red Panda Anthem. Ian, what's up? This that Red Panda Anthem. Red Panda, what's good?
Red Panda anthem. Whole clique going up. I know they can't stand it.